and welcome back to Propulsion Lab at JCON Europe, coming to you live from Cologne, Germany. And my next guest is Piotr. Welcome.
Hello.
And you might know Piotr as a Testcontainers guy, but also Elastic. And what's up with the coat? Why I wear the coat? Why are you wearing a coat?
I don't know what kind of coat you're wearing.
I'm wearing the Propulsion Lab coat.
I am wearing the crazy scientist coat. That's what I do because I try to tell people how they can play stuff with the IT, and sometimes you need to have this scientific mindset to play just an experiment to see how it works, where to measure, basically to run the experiments and measure the outcome, right? And this is the scientific approach, I would say. So hence the crazy scientist lab coat.
I love it. I love it. I don't think a lot of people think about IT as science, although there is a degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. It's still like an engineering for the most of us.
Yes, and I try to switch the hats. So go for engineering, go for a science hat. I think we should just have both of them. Because for me, science is predominantly about doubt. So you doubt in everything. Predominantly you doubt about yourself, right? Your skills, the way you understand stuff. And wearing this coat helps a lot because then, it's not a hat, right? It's just a coat. You have the lovely hat. I won't steal it from you. But then it's about this. It's a reminder that things might go wrong. We should be exposed to experimenting with stuff, learning, especially ourselves.
I love it. I love it. And speaking about doubting and stuff that goes wrong, Testcontainers. We spoke about Testcontainers and Propulsion Lab for tons of times. And it makes perfect sense because we are about developer productivity, and Testcontainers is one of the most important libraries out there for developer productivity. But putting your crazy scientist coat on and then doubting stuff and then stuff go boom.
Yes.
Testcontainers can go wrong as well.
Yes, every technology can go wrong, of course. But then what's the situation? What's usually going wrong? Is it the situation that the problem is the computer, or the problem is the, as we call it, picnic, problem not in computer, but in chair? Sorry, problem in chair, not in computer. It is, right? So it is the situation, right? I'll be covering this in my talk tomorrow. Like, you bring the test containers to your team, to your organizations, whatever. And then people start, what do we do great at? We just copy and paste.
Copy paste. Because exactly. If it works for you, it will definitely work for me in exactly the same way.
Exactly. So people start copy pasting, and then fast forward half a year, you brought it, right? So then you own it because there are problems, the builds aren't passing, builds are taking too long. So in general, the productivity goes, right? And we have to do something about it. So this is what I'm doing about it, is this talk, right? So I have basically two containers, one running MySQL, one running Elasticsearch, and I just show that this is it doesn't depend actually that much what kind of technology you're running inside this container. It matters how you use the container. For example, you don't do needless restarts between the tests. Picture this, you're a manual tester, right? You do the test manually. Would you restart the database before every test? Rather not, you would just restore the state of the DB. And here's what you should be doing with test containers as well, right? And then I show people basically you can, for example, snapshot the state of a classical DB. You can snapshot the state of Elasticsearch, then you can restore it, and so on. And here the story goes, right? So, yes, the technology, of course, has its pros and cons, but it should also be used properly.
So and I think it goes a lot, and it's a little bit like build, and the elephant right there is kind of the same idea, right?
Yeah.
Technology is hard, right?
But it's also fun.
It's fun, but it's hard, and it's hard to know a lot about everything.
Yes.
But you also need to understand that in order to take advantage of the tools and use them correctly to improve your developer productivity, you really need to invest a little bit into learning how to use it correctly.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of the point with Gradle and with Testcontainers. The easiest way to say, hey, I heard it's a great tool, it works for you, I'm going to mindlessly copy paste it because I don't want to learn, I have so much else going on. but I want to use this technology because everybody said it's great. And at the end of the day, you don't get the benefits that the technology promised, not because the technology is not good, just because you don't do it correctly, because you didn't take the time to learn the technology properly.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes this time is just 1 second. And let me tell you what I mean. Like the frequent case I see as an advocate for working for Elastic is that because how it works, Elastic is in a way a wrapper for Lucene, right? So Lucene is the database that's taking like care of the data, and it's extremely great on the search. When it comes to searching, but it doesn't have this REST APIs like balancing, whatever, right? And then how it works, how it stores data, now you have to go into this like experiment and learning and everything. It's just, it does it in the so-called segments, and there is like this thing called refresh, right? So the data is stored, but unlike regular database, let me put it that way, it just takes usually 1 second or per average 1 second, or at most 1 second, when this data is available for you to search. And people write a simple program, they store the data in the search engine, they immediately run the search, and oopsies, the data is not there, right? And then when they debug, and usually it's switching between breakpoints takes more than a second, right? The situation is different. So, and
I love it when you try to debug it and the bug won't happen because you debug it, and this is like, oh my god.
Yeah, this is exactly, see how you observe the system, and the system starts seemingly behaving differently.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So
it's like a quantum effect almost.
Yes, it's the same as it's very similar with virtual threads in Java and so on. So this is the mindset I'm wearing. Right? You should be doubting in yourself, and not just in technology, and should invest time in possessing the knowledge. Because yeah, I mean, here we are at the conference, and because these sessions are 45 minutes here, right? You're not able to go deeply into a topic, right? So sometimes it's just smoke and mirrors, or it's like easy demo to show you that things work. But then there it goes, the production, right? The actual CI/CD, the actual heavy lifting, the actual huge data sets, like taking terabytes of data, right? And then here it's like a good starting point. Great place to make friends, right? To associate faces with technology. Who can I DM on like Twitter or Facebook when things go south, right? But then you have to stay there, curious, just play with the technology as if you would like, I don't know, Lego bricks or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah. And here you have it, folks. I think that kind of the main takeaway from this interview is be curious and make sure that you invest the time needed to learn the technology that you're going to use. Because
Absolutely.
Small details can make the entire difference between using the technology correctly or just doing the cargo code of like, let's copy paste it and hope for the best.
Yes, with random hacks on top of it. Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Totally agree.
So, Piotr, thank you very much. That was excellent. Thank you for coming, and you all stay tuned for our next interview in the Propulsion Lab at JCON Europe. Our next guest is right here already. We're going to be with them in a second. With that, thank you all very much, and stay tuned.